My hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song, this cornerstone.
Dear viewer, welcome this evening to this wonderful program, Let Us Reason Together. And we have a very strong panel of teachers here, teaching in Nairobi County, also teachers who are part of the Kenya Student Christian Fellowship. And today we want to handle a very important topic that normally brings some issues, and especially in the second term, we have history in our country whereby students are banning schools, especially in the second term. And that's why I would want to talk about this. Now that schools have opened, we want to get to know what are some of the areas in which we can intervene as a society and as teachers so that we do not have these cases. In one of our camps that we attended during the holidays, I remember us standing strongly to say that there will be no banning of schools in our country, Kenya. And therefore, we want to look at a topic, child abuse, even as we discuss together with the teachers that are with me in the studio today. And therefore, I want to invite them to introduce themselves and let us know who they are. I'll start from my far left. And
thank you very much for the opportunity to be in the studio today. I want to say that I'm very grateful. My name is Robert Omondi. I teach County Girls High School in Nairobi. Thank you.
My name is Pamela Ketuba. I teach in Utawala Secondary School, Nairobi.
Hello viewers, I'm Leonora Mkala, teaching at Jamhuri High School, the Christian Union patron.
And I'm Eric Lumosi, teaching in Champions TV as a host today. And we want to discuss about child abuse. Maybe can we just understand what is the definition of the word child abuse? Madam Pamela.
Thank you, Erica. I would say that child abuse is going against the rights of a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Mr. Mondi?
Thank you very much. I would like to say that child abuse is actually the interference with the rights of a child, or we can also say it's actually the maltreatment, either physically, psychologically, or in any other way that may bring harm to a child.
Okay. Wow, child abuse. That is our topic today. We have got so many examples, and I would want to give Madam Leonora at least a time to give us some of the examples that we have in this case of child abuse.
Thank you, Eric. We know according to the law of the land, a child is a minor, somebody who has not attained the age of 18. And so children go through many abuses, one of them being the student-to-student abuse, whereby they are bullied by others. We have punishment by either teachers or even the other students. We have sexual harassment. We also have emotional abuse and discrimination that is rampant in most, if not all, our schools.
Okay, maybe we can just try to expound on them. When we talk about bullying, what do we mean, Madam Pamela?
Bullying would be like taking advantage, one party taking advantage of the other, maybe based on body size or seniority in school. Yeah, maybe a student has a position of leadership. So they take advantage of that and maltreat the others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's bullying. Anything to add, Malin?
Yeah, I can say that bullying is oppressing the child. Yeah, doing things that are oppressive to the child. Yes.
We also realized that bullying, Eric, was there, especially those days when Form 1s would come in and they would be called names, monos and all that. But these days it's not there.
Oh, yeah. In fact, my question would have been next. Do we have bullying in schools today? Do you have it in Utawala?
No, in Utawala, it's a bullying-free environment.
Oh, wonderful. And I believe the rest of our schools are free from bullying which has been a menace and a big problem in our country, especially in the early years, but it's something that maybe we have overcome this far. That means even these other areas of child abuse can also be overcome. Madam talked of a number of them, and I want us to just add some flesh on to them. When we talk about, say, for example, emotional stress or emotional abuse, maybe the viewer would want to understand what is all this emotional abuse.
Okay, thank you. Emotional abuse, actually, it is something to do with the emotions of the child. This is whereby the child is intimidated. They are called names, for example, you are stupid, you are like your mother, you're like your father, very funny names, and they keep on imagining, kumbe I'm like my mother, kumbe I'm like my father, kumbe I'm that bad. So they are emotionally stressed, and at the end of the day, you realize that with this, even in their performance, they feel so threatened, they don't perform well according to how they would have performed. I've heard of many cases, for example, a case where a teacher comes to class, and this is a class of girls, and it happens that this teacher does not like that girls. So anytime this girl would do her work, and this is a mathematics teacher, and we know how important mathematics is in our Kenyan and even the entire world. Mathematics is very important. So this mathematics teacher comes in, and he finds a dark girl, and he says, get out. And he says, I will not mark your book. This is a case of where a mathematics book was not marked for a whole 4 years because this girl was dark. There are other cases of where, Eric, teachers come to class, maybe a student has not copied notes, and they say, get out. So the teacher is coming in and the child is going out. Wow. So this child there's already a problem. Even as he grows, he's emotionally really tortured. And so at the end of the day, you realize that when he even gets out of Form 4, he's not the same. He's a different person. He's not actually the Kenyan we want to bring out because something went wrong with his emotions.
What, like the case of that child, what could she have done or he have done?
Well, as Madam Leonora has said, her only sin was to be dark.
But again, it's being chased in class today, the whole of this term, the whole of this year, and even the next year until Form 4.
So that's a case of discrimination, which is illegal.
So my question is, what would this child do? Should she contend with the situation for the rest of the time? We may be having a case out there, and there is that issue of discrimination, suppression, and that student is just there. Does he have to do something?
She could seek intervention from the administration, from the education offices.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. She could get help from those offices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Maybe I can also add on that, this child has been, the book has not been marked for 4 years, and this teacher doesn't want that student in the class. Maybe I can say the first thing that this child needs to do is to go to the guiding and counseling department. Yes, and express her fears to the guiding and counseling teacher, and then the guiding and counseling teacher will now take the responsibility of going to that particular teacher and talk to him or her about the same case.
I think that is something that is very that needs to be looked into deeply, and it's unfortunate that it's happening in some of the areas whereby now we have discrimination, and which is an example, a case of child abuse. The child is not receiving what is gone to school to receive, and it's very, very, very sad. Any other areas? We've talked on bullying, and then there's child abuse, discrimination. Any cases, Madam Pamela?
There are cases of child labor, and I'm afraid that starts right from the family level. Yes, from the parents. A child could be burdened with so much work to an extent that they may not be able to cope with schoolwork, or sometimes they are overwhelmed and they are not able to go to school at all. Yeah.
child.
I can just give an example of where a student is supposed to take care of the siblings because the mother died last year and the father has to get to go and earn a daily bread. So this student, first of all, has to take the siblings, the small brothers and sisters, to school before he reports to school. So every time he would come late, and then would ask him, Kennedy, not his real name, why are you coming late from Monday to Friday? And he told us, I have to cook for my siblings. I have to take them to school before I come here.
Wow. And these things are happening.
They're happening.
They are happening. Other times we have absent parents. It's a sad situation. Maybe the parents are alive, but they are not available to the children. Other times, like I know of a case whereby the parent it's a single parent. She has left the country to seek employment out of the country, and so the children have to parent themselves.
Wow, that's child abuse. In such cases, and I think the government has got issues to do with it, yeah? It has intervened in a way so that all students are supposed to be in the classroom. They are supposed to be in school. I remember even the chiefs are given that responsibility to ensure that no student in their villages are staying at home when the rest are supposed to be in the classroom. We have got, Madam talked of some other cases of child abuse. Besides that, we have got the issue of the sexual harassment. What would you say about it?
Very true. Sexual harassment is actually happening in our schools, and it is so unfortunate, I can say, because if we have teachers actually molesting the children, it's a very unfortunate case that actually we need to that needs to be looked into, and it is very unprofessional when a teacher maybe if I'm a male teacher, I should know the boundaries that I'm supposed to create between myself and the girls. If I'm teaching in a girls' school, even in boys' schools, the lady teachers and all that. And cases of maybe teachers, male teachers touching the lady students inappropriately have been reported in different places, which is a very unfortunate case. Yeah.
I would also just want to add that there's also sexual harassment among the students.
Okay.
You hear cases of homosexuality. You hear cases of lesbianism. This is where students in the dormitory, maybe, or in the toilets, they are harassing one another sexually.
That's unfortunate. What happens in such cases when we hear about these? Is there any interventions that we have to do?
I think for the Teacher Service Commission, I really want to give credit to them.
Okay.
The moment they hear of sexual harassment, it is interdiction.
Okay.
There is no compromise. So rules and regulations, the code of regulations for the teachers says sexual harassment, there is no compromise.
Okay.
It is interdiction straight away.
Wonderful. Then there is this big issue of the punishment. Do we still have punishment in schools? And especially we talk about corporal punishment. Madam Pamela.
Thank you, Eric. For punishment, and especially corporal punishment, I would say it is no more.
Oh.
It is outlawed.
Okay.
Yeah. What the Teacher Service Commission encourages is negative reinforcement. If a child has done something wrong, if a student has messed up, a teacher is encouraged to apply negative reinforcement. And we are also supposed to make the students understand that there is a consequence for everything that they do. Even in the Bible, we have the 10 Commandments, which are the guide, even in when we're making in the constitution making, and in any law of the land. The 10 Commandments are a reference point. So even in our schools, as much as there is no corporal punishment, it is important for the student to realize that there is always a consequence for every choice that they make, and to be able to desist from.
Okay. Wow. Now, could we be having other cases of child abuse even besides what we've named?
Maybe psychological, where the child is tortured psychologically. Yeah.
Okay, by the administration, the teachers.
By the teachers, by the fellow students. Yeah, even, yeah. A child may be judged harshly, maybe because of something that they did. So instead of being corrected and being brought back on track, well and with love, they keep the other students, or maybe the teacher keeps reiterating what they did, judging them, and the child kind of, instead of being corrected, is weighed down psychologically.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So we are talking about the child abuse, and we're getting quite a number of examples which have been affecting and are affecting a number of our schools. We hear cases that a teacher punished a child and this child was collapsed and died. We hear cases of, like, some of these bullying and some of these cases of abuses is what culminates even into some students grouping and burning schools. And these are some of the things that we'd want to talk about, so that we are able to have an intervention that will last and help our students to learn from day one to the last day without having issues in school. And when they come out of that institution, they are mature men and women that can run the government in the right way. And therefore, we're going to have a short break, and then we shall come back. Stay tuned, dear viewer, and God bless you.
In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song, this cornerstone.